I work within the field of social responsible investing, and kind of through that engage in a number of different ways. So I run a business called Impact Experience, and through Impact Experience, we build bridges between investors, entrepreneurs, and communities that have been historically underinvested in, with a particular focus around bias and structural racism. And I also help to lead investments at a group called One Planet VC, where we invest into early stage businesses and transformative industries, all focus on values and culture integration as part of the kind of investment decision-making process. And also engage in a few other kind of advisory work within the impact investing space, but all around how do we align our values with our investments. I mean, that's actually one of the big reasons that I'm so intrigued by working within the venture capital ecosystem, is that, I think exactly as you said, that the venture capital ecosystem is not known for being particularly impact oriented as a broader industry. There's certainly been an increase in the number of funds and individuals that are looking to have more of a focus around social impact, but that has been the exception historically. And so I think part of that ability to actually imprint around how and why this is so important. So one of the areas that we have been quite focused on is how do we increase more diversity within the broader venture capital ecosystem. So through my work with Impact Experience, we partner with impact-orientated fund of funds called Illumin Capital that require each of the fund managers to go through a 10-year deep dive work around bias reduction. And we have a research partnership with Stanford that's all focused on implicit bias in investing. And with One Planet VC, we require that at least 60% of our investments are into women and people of color run businesses. So this is one way in which of integrating kind of impact into the decision-making process. I think furthermore, there are a number of other ways that we look at it in terms of how are employees treated, how do companies think about their community engagement, the fact that there are a number of industries that are doing particularly well right now, like education technology or telemedicine, that have impact that's integrated into the DNA of what those industries exist for. So I think it's certainly easier within certain industries versus others as well. So yes, I grew up in London and have been based between the US and China really over the last 12 years. So within Silicon Valley for a while, in DC, in Beijing, and much of the work around social responsible investing has really been kind of all over the world. And it's powerful to see how different ecosystems kind of develop and how they can be nurtured and cultivated over time. And it's a big part of the reason that Impact Experience, a lot of our work is focused on this building of bridges across different communities and industries, is to really create this opportunity to share best practices between different communities, because we can often get stuck in our kind of silos. And so the ability to be able to explore how different people are approaching these topics and engaging around these themes becomes that much more important. A couple of elements that we think about a lot. One is the sort of influence at scale. So I think it's exciting to see different organizations that are engaging around these topics, but the ability to integrate impact into the largest pension funds, university endowments, insurance companies, I think is a really powerful aspect within the broader social responsible investing ecosystem, and definitely something that we try through each of the different levers that we have to influence, but I think is such an important part of the mainstreaming of this work, such that it's not just a niche nice to have, but there's actually, people can see the compelling case for not just impact reasons, but also financial reasons for considering many of these issues. And I think one of the elements has been, with the transition to everything being virtual, there's been actually a lot of opportunities that I think that have been created by that, in terms of being able to connect more easily with people in a broad range of different places that maybe in the past the logistics of getting to different places got in the way. But I do think there are challenges around how to still maintain the level of intimacy and engagement in that virtual context. So that's something that we think about a lot and look at innovative ways through engaging the arts and other ways to maintain that that over time. I've been amazed. I've had a chance to go to a number of ebbf conferences and have met some incredible people through the ebbf ecosystem, and the ability to stay in touch with those people over time and to reconnect around particular projects or where there's areas of intersection with different initiatives that people are working on. It is very much a community, and one that is just so powerful to see all the different directions and ways in which people are thinking about kind of integrating ethics into their organizations and the world. Part of what's been powerful about this year is that it really has provided a space for people to really engage around that question and think about what is the legacy that we want to leave? How do we leave an imprint on the world around us? And I think that particularly we've seen this within the context of the US, but I think it's applicable around the whole world, is the importance of realizing that unless we realize how interconnected we are, so when we think about the rise in the awareness around the Black Lives Matter movement and racial justice, that I think a lot about this principle of Ubuntu, like I am because we are, and the ability of, if we are able to create a future in recognizing that interdependence, how much more flourishing the world can be as a result. And so what that looks like within finance, what that looks like within healthcare systems, education systems, is a powerful way of recalibrating how we actually design systems that are based more on our interconnectedness.